Howdy fellow YouTubers, my name is Bombstraight, and today I'm going to tell you something that you did not know about me. At the age of 12, after I got past my booger flicking phase, my parents decided to get me a Rubik's Cube. Not the brightest idea looking back on my life, but you know what? Kinda glad they did it. I have had that same Rubik's Cube until now, and I'm 19. That's a long time for a Rubik's Cube to exist. But I'm glad that they bought me this Rubik's Cube because it created a drive in me to figure out problems. So after 4 years of fiddling with this Rubik's Cube, I could no longer take it and decided to figure out how exactly do you solve a Rubik's Cube, and it's quite simple. All you have to do is memorize a few short algorithms. Now, algorithms is a very broad term, and when I say algorithms in the form of a Rubik's Cube, it's basically like a line of code, essentially, for figuring out a Rubik's Cube, and there's about 7 of them that you need to figure out a Rubik's Cube, and that's it. Once you memorize the 7, you can solve a Rubik's Cube every single time, no matter what orientation the Rubik's Cube is in. Once you've done the Rubik's Cube as much as I have, you start to forget those algorithms that you had first learned, and it's all muscle memory by then. Once those algorithms turn into muscle memory, you can start to do the Rubik's Cube much faster. I can probably do a Rubik's Cube now at 30 seconds, but in this video, it takes me 23 minutes. And that is due to the fact that, yes, it is a computer and you kind of have to flick the things. You can't just use your hands, and it was a lot harder in there, and not to mention I forgot all the algorithms, and so as I was doing the Rubik's Cube, I had to look at what I was doing, and I wrote down the algorithms as I was doing it. Now, there are actually many ways to solve a Rubik's Cube, and the way that I am using here is a layer style. Instead of solving it side by side like the majority of the population tries to do, you have to solve one side and work your way up the Rubik's Cube in a layer type style until you get to the top. Now, if I'm not mistaken, every single Rubik's Cube can be solved within 20 moves, but you have to have a very high brain function to be able to move those pieces like that, and the way that I'm doing here is a way that anyone can learn. Now, me being me, I always carry around a Rubik's Cube. It is a great conversation starter. If you ever get in an awkward situation, you just pull out your Rubik's Cube, and all of a sudden you're the center of attention because not many people can do a Rubik's Cube. Now, at first it took me somewhere around 2 weeks to completely figure out how to do a Rubik's Cube, but in that time, I carried around the algorithms in my pocket so that if I had some free time here and there, I could just whip out the Rubik's Cube and do it right there and then. Eventually, it got ingrained in my head what all the algorithms were to figure out a Rubik's Cube, and that is an awesome feeling to be able to just do a Rubik's Cube just sitting there. And, you know, at first it was like a minute because I was reciting the things in my head, the algorithms in my head, and eventually it just moved into muscle memory where I could look at it, and then you look at it to get your orientation right, and then you can look away and you can just plow down a friggin' Rubik's Cube. It's so much fun, guys. So after I had solved a Rubik's Cube multiple millions of times, I decided to move up in the world. A normal Rubik's Cube is a 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube. So I decided to go out and get a 4x4x4 Rubik's Cube, which it's like a normal Rubik's Cube, but it's bigger. Now, how do you exactly solve a 4x4x4 Rubik's Cube? Well, the theory that I was using was you turn that 4x4x4 Rubik's Cube into a 3x3. In doing so, a 4x4 is not a 3x3, and you run into these problems called parities. Now, parities only happen when you're trying to solve a bigger Rubik's Cube like a 3x3. And the term parities in this sense stands for something that would normally not happen on a 3x3 because you are upgrading to a 4x4 and just some of the squares don't match up sometimes, and to figure out a parity you have to have an ungodly long algorithm. Now, unlike the 3x3 algorithms, which are probably like 7 to 10 characters long, the parity algorithms are somewhere near 30. And throughout the years that I had solved the 4x4, I couldn't memorize these algorithms because they were just ungodly long no matter how many times I did them. So I always carry around an algorithm cheat sheet in my wallet, which is a great conversation starter, I might add. Now, eventually I did move up to a 5x5x5, and the parities that happen in 4x4s and 5x5s are actually exactly the same, which is really cool. So, you know, if I ever did memorize them, I could memorize them for both. Something that is really different between a 3x3, a 4x4, and a 5x5 is that the 4x4 has no middle square. Now, you may be asking, why does the middle square matter? Well, if any of you know anything about Rubik's Cube, you'd know that the middle square designates what side that is, where if the middle square is green, that is the green side. It will always stay green. There's no way it can change. On a 4x4, though, you have 4 squares in the middle, and that is probably one of the hardest things about a 4x4 is the fact that you don't know what side is which. You have to use other clues to figure out what side is which. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that anyone makes when trying to solve a Rubik's Cube is you're thinking of the colors. You can't just think about the colors. The piece that you're putting into the green spot has other sides. You have to think of each individual square as three-dimensional, where if you have a corner piece that has green on one side, it also has other colors on the other side, and you have to designate those colors to their representative sides. Now, because of how a Rubik's Cube is made, a corner piece will never ever change. It will always have one side is this color, the other side is this color, and the other side as another color. And in using that knowledge on a 4x4, you can figure out which side is which. If you start out with a green side, because there are no sides essentially when you very first start solving a 4x4. If you just make one side a color, the rest of the Rubik's Cube will fall into place. Well, that's all I really have to talk about today. If you would like to see me solve a Rubik's Cube in real life, please say so in your comment in the comment section below. Also, if you made it this part of the video, please put the word, let's see. I'm just gonna scroll through this website and be like, hey, what's up? Put the word charges, CHARGES, in your comment in the comment section below if you made it to the end of the video, so that I know that you watched the video all the way to the end and are the best viewer and or subscriber ever. Please do like the video if you want to see more things you didn't know about me. It would really help this series out. This is the very first video in the You Didn't Know About Me series, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helped me and my channel out. That is all. But up, bunny hop, bunny hop, bunny hop. Oh my gosh. You suck, Mr. Guy. You suck. I shouldn't.